Okay, today I'm here to talk about this book, this life-changing book. First things first, I'm making this video because I shared my enthusiasm about this book on Instagram, and I got a comment from someone who was interested in knowing if I could share maybe like the top 3 or more points from the book. I'm not very good at summarizing or being concise, at least not yet. And so I thought that it would be easier for me to make a video, and here I am making it. But before I dive into this amazing book, I need you to know a little bit of my background in self-development in order for you to understand where I'm coming from. I read my first book on self-development in 2009. The way I see self-development is there are certain laws for life. Certain things, biologically, emotionally, psychologically, all of these different aspects of our lives that are just truths. When I've studied and I've looked at other people who have succeeded in what they've wanted to do, there are certain rules that they all follow. Rules. There are certain things, certain steps, certain ways of looking at life. But what makes this book different for me, and I can't emphasize this enough, that we're all different, we learn differently, we understand things differently, and this is why I wanted you to understand where I come from so that you'll understand why this book is so meaningful for me. So my point here is, even though I've been reading about these things and these concepts and the way that you can improve yourself, it's still about how they get through to you. Because it's one thing that we know something, and then it's a whole other thing to apply it into our lives, to implement it. There are certain things you already know, but you don't feel them, you don't really understand them until something happens. It's either the right time or somebody says it in the exact way that you understand it. Now, Robin Sharma is reminding me of all of the things that really matter in this life, and he's speaking about them in a way that really, really inspires me and excites me to my core. Like, I want to change my life. But my point is this, that life and the way that we are wired biologically, we are wired to look for problems. We are wired to look for the negative. That's just how we are as humans. So what happens in our lives if we do not have a dedicated practice to keep ourselves positive, to keep ourselves excited, to keep ourselves going forward? If we don't do all of those things, then life is going to, and we are going to bring ourselves down. And that's just how it is. Susan Jeffers, who wrote an amazing book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, she was an American psychologist, and she spent all of her career studying fear. She talked about how even the most positive, the most successful people in the world, they need reinforcement, and they meet weekly in the morning where they encourage each other, they give positive reinforcement, where they get themselves excited about the work that they do, about life, because it is innate in us to get negative. It is just how we are biologically wired. This is why it's so important to have books like this that remind you of what really matters and what is possible. So let's get into this book. I've been talking so long already, but let's get into it. Okay. At the moment, I'm on page 149. There are 314 pages in this book, so I'm halfway there. So I'm only focusing, obviously, on the first half that I have already read. The first thing that I want to say about the book is that it's written in a story form. So it follows two people who are learning from a master, from a mentor, who is a living, walking, breathing example of everything he teaches. So the other thing that I feel this book is based on is the fact that everyone can be and do anything. Okay, the third thing is everything starts from within. If you don't work, nothing works. Then there was a really good quote from Tolstoy. Everybody thinks about changing the world, but nobody thinks about changing themselves. And that's also a premise for this book. It's kind of a similar thing that I said before, where if you don't work, nothing works. And it just, everything starts from here. It is not an external job, it is an internal job. Now, another thing is that we all have blocks, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, physically, spiritually, that keep us from being who we truly can be or want to be. And this is something that I especially think is really important in understanding the lessons in this book, is that you need to come at it from a place of love, not from fear. And this is what Mandela said. I think it was Gandhi who said, be the change you wish to see in the world. Yes. And Nelson Mandela said, I think it was Nelson Mandela who said, may your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. So may your reading of this book reflect your hopes and not your fears. Okay, so let's dive into the book. So obviously it's called the 5 a.m. Club. So the idea in the book is that when you rise early, you have time for yourself, undistracted. Nobody has any demands from you in this moment. So if you wake up at 5, from 5 to 6, that 1 hour is dedicated for you and only you. This is when you teach yourself. This is when you focus on yourself. This is when you build the foundation for your day. The other thing that has a lot of power in waking up at 5 in the morning is I'm winning because I got up at 5. I never thought that I could, but I'm getting up at 5. When you get a victory first thing in the morning, you will feel confident. Whenever we succeed at something, it builds our confidence. This is the developmental psychology, how children develop confidence, self-esteem, the same way adults do. It's when we try something new, we succeed at it, we build our confidence. It's as simple as that. Sharma also gives more scientific reasons for rising at 5 in the morning and what that first hour of undistracted time can do for you. But I will leave you to get the book to know more. The second thing is, and this is also so crucial and the most important part, I think, patience, discipline, commitment, work, dedication. These are what this book is built on. If you dedicate yourself to something on a daily basis, you're gonna see huge results when you consistently do that. Whatever that thing is for you, that one thing, when you do that on a consistent basis every day, it's going to blow up. It's going to give you staggering results. You enhance something that you want to do by 1%. At the end of the year, it's going to be 365%. Think about that. Now, the other thing is, whenever we try to do something new, we start to feel fear and anxiety, right? Because we haven't done it before, we don't know how it's going to go, we don't know what we're going to do, and it creates these emotions in us, and that's just natural. It happens to everybody. But it is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. It's just a matter of managing the stress, the anxiety, and the fears. If you read about fear, and I still recommend also reading the Susan Jeffers Field of Fear and Do It Anyway, she also has other books on fear, you will discover that fear is a natural thing that happens with us and in us and for us, and it is actually something that you should go towards instead of away from. And we're not talking about physical danger here, we're talking about emotional fear. This one I'm just gonna say briefly, and then you can refer to the book to understand more, because I am not going to give you everything and not have you read the book, because you have to read the book. You have to get the book. It's that good. Okay, better awareness results into better choices, which results into better results. And this reminds me of a quote either from Henry Ford or Jim Rohn. Maybe both of them said it, maybe a lot of people have said it, because these are again the truths of life. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you always got. And I think that is one of the most powerful quotes, and it's so powerful that I have written it on our entryway door. How do you say that? So whenever I'm leaving, whenever I'm coming home, I see it, and it reminds me every day that if I keep doing the same things that have led me to a certain result that I am not happy with, something has to change, right? It's duh, of course. It's obvious. While it is obvious, does not mean that we often do so, and that's the point of this book as well. If you don't work, nothing works. Okay, and this one is huge also. When we're little, we have this idea in our heads that we can be anything we want, right? Like our dreams are big, and adults usually let us dream, and we have these ideas, oh, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a dancer, I want to be all of these different things that are exciting and feel so good to us. And then we become adults, and all of a sudden, no, you can't do that. No. These are the dreams that you have as a kid, and then you grow up and then you become an accountant, because you don't really want to be an astronaut, you really want to be an accountant. That's just how life works. Not that there's anything wrong This is, okay, this is not from the book. I'm just coloring it with my own ideas or of the things that I believe in. Not that there's anything wrong with being an accountant. The point is that you have to find whatever it is that drives you. And for some people, they love numbers, and I really, really admire those people because I am not a fan of numbers. At least not so enthusiastically. So the point is that when we grow up, we're being taught by teachers, maybe our parents, maybe other adults in our lives, our friends, the media, that there are certain things that you can do, certain things you can't do. So we separate people from talented to ordinary. And we are usually in the ordinary category, but the truth is that anyone can be anything when they put their mind to it and they work for it. And this actually reminds me of what I handle in my business a lot, because I work with women who don't believe they're photogenic. I've come across people who have categorized the world as those who are beautiful and those who are not. And they are usually in the latter category. And I just find it so sad. And there's actually a really good quote that I don't remember what page it is on. Anyway, the idea is that when you have an idea in your head that you believe to be true, you make that a rule for the entire world, but it is not a rule of the world, it is a restriction of your mind. It is a restricting belief in your mind that this is the truth. There are so many other things that I could talk about right now, but what I really want you to do is get the book, because it's going to change your life. Well, I don't know if it's going to change your life, but it has the possibility of changing your life if you allow it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read a quote from this book, and then I'm going to leave you to your own devices and hopefully go on to some kind of bookstore, whether online or offline, and get this book and start reading it and start implementing these practices in your daily life. So what I've been doing, I've been getting up at 5:30. Actually, this morning I got up at 5:45. I was really tired, but I've been getting up so much earlier than I have usually. And there's also one thing that I want to say about this book. It relates to what I said about the coming at things from a place of love and not of fear. And some kind of resistance I think a lot of people could have for this is, why do you have to get up at 5 in the morning? Like, it's so early. What if I can't make it every time? Like, what if I can't commit to it? What if things happen? What if something comes up and, you know, like I go to a party and I just can't wake up at 5 and all of these other things. I don't think that the point of this book is to make you work your life like you're some kind of soldier. I think the point of this book is that you start making changes in your life that actually benefit you, that actually make you feel better, that make you feel happy, to make you feel joyful, excited to be alive. That's the point of the book. The point of the book is not that you're running around tasting blood in your mouth. That's not the point. At least I don't feel that the point is that. The point is that you respect and love yourself enough to commit to the things that make you feel better in your life, that get you the results that you're yearning for in your life. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of the book. It's not that, oh, you have to get up at 5 in the morning and be really nasty to yourself if you can't get up at 5 in the morning the next day. Whatever it is, the point is that you commit to doing the best that you can. Commit to becoming the kind of person you're proud of. Commit to loving yourself, to respecting yourself. And respecting yourself means that sometimes you do the things that you know are good for you, even when you don't feel like it. These are the things. Oh my God, you have to read this book. I'm so excited about this book. So, okay, I've been talking for a really long time. So now I'm just going to read the quote and then I'm going to leave you to it. Okay. Be grateful for every moment. Don't be timid when it comes to your ambitions. Stop wasting time on insanely trivial things, and make it a priority to reclaim the creativity, fire, and potential that is dormant within you. It's so important to do so. Why do you think Plato encouraged us to know thyself? He understood intimately that we have vast reservoirs of ability that absolutely must be accessed and then applied in order for us to lead energetic, joyful, peaceful, and meaningful lives. To neglect this hidden force inside of us is to create a breeding ground for the pain of potential unused, the frustration of fearlessness unembraced, and the lethargy of mastery unexplored. What more is there to say? One more sentence. My advice to you two special human beings is not to put off doing whatever it takes to express your natural genius. Live in a way that feels true to you and pay attention to the small miracles every day brings. Get the book! And by the way, I'm in no way affiliated or associated with Robin Sharma. I am just in love with this book. I'm in love with the way that he writes. It speaks directly to my heart. Directly. So I'm excited to read the rest of the book, to learn more, to implement these in my life, and to see the staggering results that Robin Sharma is talking about. I might come back after I've read the whole book and talk about the rest of the book, but I highly encourage that you get it for yourself. And now it is time for you to do that. And please, if you have comments, I would love it if you would let me know what those comments are. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking about now that I have told you a little bit about the book? But I think my tea is cold. It's not cold yet. I made this tea for this video so I could sip on it because it's kind of my trademark thing, you know? I love black tea. But I got so excited that I just didn't have time to drink it. So now I'm gonna drink it. It's lukewarm, but it's still okay. Okay. For some reason I feel like saying, go with God. But, you know, I want you to know that you can create your life into what you want it to be. And it's not some hoo-ha like this mumbo jumbo thing. It is very practical, very normal. It's just 1 + 1 = 2. But just because you have challenges, just because it gets hard, doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. Actually, it's the opposite. Just because it gets hard, because it is not easy, is why you should be doing it. It's precisely the things that make us grow and change us. You know, what Jillian Michaels always says in her workout videos, and by the way, if you've never worked out with her I have never worked out with her one-on-one. Oh, if only, Jillian, if you're watching this, please, I would love to have you be my personal trainer. But anyway, I've watched her fitness videos, and the one thing that she always says too, which is another law of life, is if you're not getting uncomfortable, nothing is changing. So she says, you better get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the truth. If you're not feeling like you're pushing beyond your boundary when you're exercising, if you don't feel challenged by it, it's too easy and nothing's gonna change. Change only happens when you push a little bit more, when you're just going a little further than feels comfortable. That's where change happens, and that's how your comfort zone expands, and that's how new things start to feel uncomfortable, and the things that used to feel uncomfortable or scary no longer do. And that's amazing. That's amazing. We can stretch ourselves. We can grow ourselves. We are not static. We are not fixed. We can grow. We can change. If you want to be a different person, you can be a different person. You just have to work for it. That's it. That's it. It's a simple formula. Do something differently. That's it. Okay, I'm done preaching now. Thank you for watching this video. If you got this far, I applaud you. You are amazing. Seriously. That means you are dedicated to changing yourself. That means you're dedicated to becoming the kind of person that you want, or at least you're intrigued by it. So get the book, change your life. Talk to you later. Bye.